Welcome back, my fellow YouTubers. Today in this video we're going to be talking about the driver's violation point system in New York City. We're going to be breaking down the exclusive, the good, the bad, the ugly, getting down to the nitty-gritty of this point system here in New York State. All the points that you get while you drive your vehicle in the city, in the state, around the corner, up, down, left, side, to the bodega like I do. Anything that involves driving within the state of New York and you getting points, we're going to be running that down in this video. All the information, everything you need to know. But in order for us to understand the great point system of the DMV, we have to go back in time to see how it all originated. The great old DMV. Back in 1929, the DMV was established. Psych, I'm just kidding. I have no clue when the DMV came out, but it probably was during the time that cars were being made. Probably sometime around the Great Depression or that era. And there was a lot more accidents happening in the road. That's probably when the DMV came about. As for the point system, there's not too much on the internet on how it originated. All I know is that the DMV is a government agency that administrates registered vehicles and driver's license. And they also have their law enforcement, which provides the great system that we know today as the point system. And it is important because you don't want a lot of cuckoo crazies driving on the road, in which there's still a lot out there. And I'm glad that there is a system like the DMV point system to distinguish which cuckoos and crazies are out there driving throughout the great state of New York. Not every state is built the same. Every state has their own rules and regulations on how they do things. But here in New York State, this is how they do it. And we're going to run that down right now. If you're driving in the state of New York, you got to drive careful because you never know who's at what corner, what can happen, what cop is where, what law enforcement is where, who's hiding behind a bush, who's hiding behind a tree, who's driving up and down the highway really fast. You always got to drive careful. But you always got to make sure that you look into the sides to see everything. Because you never know. One of these guys could just pop out, give you a ticket for some random thing, you know? You could be stunting in a foreign whip or pulling up to the scene with the ceiling missing. You never know. Because there could be a police officer watching your every move. These police officers be out here and they watch your every move. They give you tickets for no random reason just because the city needs to make a quota. If you live here, you know what I'm talking about. All the city does is consume. It does not give back. It just takes as much as it can. That's why driving in the city is so difficult, because all these rules and regulations that they put up on the people, us the people, we need to stand up together and fight back. Nah, I'm just kidding. Anyways, the driver violation point system gives New York State a way to identify high-risk drivers. The state assigns certain points for violations within a time frame, so like that they can see who's a high-risk driver or not, basically. So let's say hypothetically you borrow your mom's Prius and you go down and you start jamming some biggie music in the background, and you're blasting it really loud in a neighborhood where there's noise pollution control. A police officer happens to be in the corner and he sees you jamming to Biggie. He's bopping his head because he knows he's a Biggie fan too. And all of a sudden, he pulls you over, red and lights, red, blue. Whoop, 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 whoop. Pull over, your car is too trash, but the Biggie music is good. Whoop, 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 whoop. You know, he stops, he pulls you over. He does the whole procedure, but he tells you, hey man, this is too loud. You can't be jamming, especially in a Prius, to Biggie music in this neighborhood. So I'm giving you this ticket now, and it's 2 points for noise pollution. So what happens after you get a ticket? This is exactly what's going to happen when you get a ticket. You get the ticket. The ticket is going to give you the option to either plead guilty or not plead guilty. You can either A, plead guilty, or B, plead your innocence. Most people just pay the ticket because they don't want the stress of going to court or anything with the DMV. But this is what happens when you do plead guilty. You go, oh, it's only 2 points. I got 2 points for noise pollution, whatever, in this neighborhood in my mom's Prius. And all of a sudden, these 2 points, you think that it's nothing. But let's say something else happens. You get pulled over by another police officer. He gives you a ticket with 3 points. Now you have 5 points on your license. And guess what? Since you don't want to go to court or fight the tickets, you end up keeping these points on your license. So guess what happens? These points that you don't care about piling up on your license, you just pay them. You keep the points. And the points do not come off your license. They do not come off your license at all. So now you have 5 points on your license. Your insurance premiums go up and you have tickets. What happens after you pay the tickets? Whew. Do you still have the points? Do they go away? Do they stay? Let's find out. Drum roll, please. I am sorry. And the answer is you keep all of your points. All your points stay on your license for up to 4 years. Even if you pay. You pled guilty. It's almost like going to jail and pleading guilty to a crime and say, yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to pay. And yes, Your Honor, guess what? I was jamming to Biggie in my mom's Prius, and all of a sudden this cop who was jamming with me gave me a ticket, 2 points, and then this other cop gave me an infraction for something else that wasn't my fault, but it is my fault because I paid for it and I'm convicted, and now these points don't want to come off, but I paid my tickets. And the judge is going to say this, guy who jams Biggie in a Prius, shame on you. Also, you're responsible because you paid the tickets and you claimed that you did it. Case closed. That's it. Finito. Doom, doom, doom. You're convicted. You agreed to the terms as soon as you said that you're guilty on that ticket. You mailed it in. You send it in. Now you're guilty. You're convicted. That's your date. And the points count from this date on to the next 18 months. So as soon as you agree to plead guilty on that ticket, you're convicted. I know that you didn't have to go to court, but that's exactly how it is. It happens that way because you're convicted of this. It's like you said yes to the crime. I know it's kind of ridiculous, but most people, they don't see traffic court like a real court. But there is rules and regulations, and we do have to abide by them. And that's exactly what's going to happen. The points stay on your license 3 years after you're convicted. Can you remove the points? That's an awesome good question. And let's see how that works. You can elect to take a safety driver's course to remove the points. Once you do that, it will remove the points. But there is a catch, especially here in New York State. In other states, you take the course and they take off the points directly. Here, they credit you the points. So what happens is they credit you the points. So if you log on and check, mydmv.com to see how much points I have. What? I took the class. Wait a minute. Pump the brakes. What is this? Why do I still have 5 points? Well, technically, if you do take the safety driver's class, they do take off 4 points. Here in New York, they take off 3 to 4 points. So technically, if you get pulled over by a police officer, they will see that you have 1 point because basically you took the class and it removed 4 points. But on your DMV record, your DMV abstract is going to show that you have those 5 points still there. Once you sign on to mydmv.com to see your driving status, you're going to see those 5 points still remaining. So in order for you to get those removed, you can't because they're going to stay there for the next 18 months. They count towards you for the next 18 months. Anything after that, they don't count towards you, but they stay on your record for 3 years. So even if 18 months passes, yeah, they don't count against you, but they are still on record. That right there is one of the most sketchiest things I've ever heard of, and that's what happens here in New York City. That's the sketchiest thing. You pay for the ticket, you have points on your license, you take the defensive driver course, you remove the points, and they're still there. But wait, there's more. There's also more. You have to pay a driver assessment fee to the DMV if you get 6 or more points in an 18-month period. So for example, the guy in the Prius bumping music to Biggie, he got 1 ticket for 2 points, 3 points for another violation. So if he gets another violation of 2 or 3 points more, if he passes 6 points on a violation within 18-month period time, within 3 years, he has to pay something to the DMV called an assessment fee. What is a driver responsibility assessment? The driver responsibility assessment is a fee you must pay to DMV over a 3-year period if you are convicted of certain traffic offenses in New York State or accumulate 6 or more points on your driving record within 18 months. The fee is in addition to any fines, penalties, or surcharges that you must pay for a traffic conviction. The purpose of the assessment is to prevent the repeated behavior of problem drivers to improve traffic safety. In other words, this is the DMV trying to say, oh, you want to mess up on the road and you want to waste our time because you're a bad driver? Well, you're going to have to pay. This right here is bogus because if you already paid your ticket, you already took the driver safety course to remove the points, which they remain on your license for up to 4 years, you still have to pay an additional fee. So you're like, hold on, what? Wait, what? Huh? That's ridiculous. And the DMV doesn't care. And guess what? If you don't pay, they will suspend your license until you pay the fine, until you pay this bogus driver's assessment fee. They do give you an option to pay. They give you a temporary pay half, pay now. So like that, we don't suspend your license and then pay the rest. But in order for you to clear your name, you need to pay this fee. The DMV that was created back in the Flintstone era has their rules and regulations that we have to abide by. So that's how it is here in New York State. So is pleading guilty on a ticket worth it? No, never. What you want to do is try to fight that ticket as hard as you can. Take that out of court. Make sure that you keep renewing. You can always renew your date, your court date. So you stretch it longer and longer and longer and longer. Because the longer it sits, guess what? You're still innocent. Yes, you have a pending ticket and you will have to face it one day, but you don't have to do it now. You see what I'm saying? You drag it. Drag the whole process as long as you can, so like that it does not come out on your driver's record. If you don't agree that you did that and you didn't get convicted, then you didn't do it. So it sits for a very long time. The judge throws it out sometimes. The judge says, oh, pay this minor fee. It works in your favor because you did not commit that violation. It still shows on paper that you did, but since there's no conviction, you haven't been charged with that, and it's not on your DMV record. Of course, we are talking about minor violations. Nothing major like, oh, a hit and run, or oh, I killed someone, or oh, big stuff, Supreme Court. That you're not going to get your license back just taking a little course and removing points. You have to go through some real court stuff for that. This video is not for you. This video is for regular people that have minor violations. Just fight the tickets. Fight the tickets. If you have a lot of points on your license, you can get it suspended. You could get it revoked. A lot of things can happen if you accumulate a lot of points on your license, especially within an 18-month time. You can lose your job with rideshare. Uber and Lyft will deactivate you if you have a lot of violations on your driver's abstract. And once they see that your record is a little stained, they will deactivate you. That's how it is, because they do random background checks any time of the year. They have a right. You sign for that when you become a rideshare driver. So fighting a ticket that involves points is always the best option to go, because you're the one who's going to come out winning on top. You don't want to lose your jobs. You want to be able to apply for jobs. I believe every job does that, even FedEx. It's a motor vehicle record. Every company wants safe drivers. They want clean, persistent driving. They don't want stained driving, because then there's bad reputation if a lawsuit happens. For example, if a FedEx truck hits somebody and the driver never had a proper background check, FedEx is going to lose a lot of money. See, that's an example. So it's always good to have a clean driving record. Almost like having good credit. You can't get a good loan if your credit is bad. That's how it is with motor vehicle records. So finally getting to the point about points. Try not to get them. Be cool, be collected, drive safe, like, share, subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.